gas. Thank you, everybody.
Next. 6:32.
We're gonna open the coming gun meeting at 6:32. And we'll establish a forum. Laura?
Here.
Brandon?
Here.
Tommy is absent. Melissa? Here. Lynn? Here. Laura? Here. Rand, four. Are there any announcements?
I want to make one announcement. I'm very happy to announce that we have hired a code enforcement, part-time code enforcement officer that started today. And I will let you know as a council, as a planning commission and as a council, we're getting his feet wet. He's a person that has some experience with code enforcement, doing similar type stuff in Austin. His name's Jonathan Wheeler, and we're very happy to have him. So first day today, but we'll get him situated. And we're going to start with the low hanging fruit, some of the signs, some of the things that we've seen, but we'll start getting him involved.
Great.
Thanks.
Good to hear. Good news.
Yeah,
Good news.
absolutely good news.
Thank you, Lauren. We have any public comments? Okay, then I guess we'll go direct to the public hearing. Open the public hearing. Can I have a roll call?
34.
And the public hearing is on 1725 Southwest Highway 281, ABS A 0102, survey 241A, Eagleton acres .69, a variance request for a wooden deck, 10-foot side yard setback and 20-foot rear setback, and the owner is Second Auto LLC. So did you have anything you wanted to preface here for, or would I go right into this?
So Second Echo is a business already established. One of the things we talk about with the variance is there a hardship? And then also what kind of ask is it? So from the staff standpoint, we kind of look at it, an encroachment on a building line, when it's a deck, if it's a smaller deck or something that's not obtrusive, it's not a big issue. But again, there's both of those metrics you kind of look at. So that's up for you as a planning commission, zoning commission, and council to determine, but from a staff standpoint, it doesn't seem to be a real issue.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Stone, if you want to speak now.
Thank you, commissioners, for the opportunity to address you. And Second Echo is grateful for the opportunity to fully establish its business. One of our concepts is to have take advantage of the beautiful wooded area that is Yet Park and the adjacent property, which is intermediary property, which is a chamber property, all green space, and we would love to put in a deck in the wooded area. It also has the advantage of not being covering up our on-site sewage facility, which the previous owner of the property built the deck right on top of. And so we do think that that will be a great opportunity for us to have art venues, community activities. We had our first Noche en Blanco last week. We would love to have had our deck ready to go. It would have allowed us to come nowhere near the maximum occupancy load of the building, which is 60 persons. And so we compensated by opening up some of my renter space in that same plaza. But ultimately, we need to have that deck to accommodate the kind of festive occasions that art galleries tend to spawn. So I ask for your consideration. We're asking for a 10-foot variance on the rear offset, required is 30 feet, and we're asking for 10 feet, 10 feet of forgiveness there to build 20 feet off of the rear. And on the side offset of 15 feet, we're asking for a 5-foot variance so that we can build as close as 10 feet from our neighbor to the north. Subject to your questions, technical questions, Mr. Sean Cole, who is going to be building the deck, is present tonight, can answer the specific questions.
John?
Yes, ma'am. Can I come run back?
Sure.
Let's see. Certainly.
Guys, are we together or hold it up or they can see it or something?
Okay. Okay, so this is the existing building. And here's our existing building. It's got already it's 6.5 foot away from the property line the building is. We're gonna start our deck 13. This is north, facing towards you. So we're gonna come off, we're 20 inches off the ground. We're just gonna build it's kind of a funky shape, but we're gonna come off 7 foot, run down our property line here, 10 foot away. And then we're gonna turn and we're gonna come back. This is a split level building here. So this building's roughly 8 inches taller than this building, but you can't tell it from the outside. So you'll be coming out onto this lower deck, and then you'll be able to come up this upper deck, and there's also another entry door going into this building here. So yeah, we'll have a ramp here, and then we'll have stairs going out. And I guess we're 19 foot from the property line at the point of this deck. And then we're 18 feet after we go down the stairs, from the stairs to the property line. And then all along over here would just be 10 foot.
And how tall, how high is the deck?
Okay.
Above them?
Okay, so we're 20 inches tall here. Which would be closest to 281. And then we're 30 inches off the ground here. And then we'll come over to here to be 34 inches off the ground. And then we're gonna have to step up to 46 inches. And then this deck will be a little bit taller, of course. And then the highest point off the ground would be about 48 inches, depending on which rock you measure from, because it's a little bit unlevel. So we're at 48 inches off the ground is the highest point.
And the previous deck was right here, which was essentially over the drainage.
There was a septic tank, and they had moved it. The septic tank is in this area. We're going to be 8 foot 4 inches away from the septic tank now. There's not going to be anything underneath our decks except for a couple runs of conduit. We'll have a water line that we may need to move, but nothing major. Handrails, of course, there'll be handrails here and then around the whole entire deck, 36 inches. So if y'all, this is to the floors, the 48 inches. I'm sorry. All these measurements are to the floor of the deck.
And is the green space only directly west?
The answer is
Yeah. Yeah, so that'd be
All this is
this is
Yet Park?
Yet Park over here. Yes.
So you have a neighbor north and south.
That's correct.
Where do the trails run? I know there's trails in Yet Park or a trail.
Nowhere near.
Yeah,
Nowhere near?
yeah.
There's a big oak tree. It's all back.
So we've got several oak trees. Nothing pressing. Where we start digging, if we do hit a oak tree root, we're gonna put a block on the ground. We're not gonna drill into it. But so this would be a shaded nice area. There's oak trees scattered out here, and they're not heritage oaks, they're smaller. But this deck will be almost fully shaded.
So you make allowances for the root system for all the oak trees that's been approved.
I won't drill into the root. Yes, ma'am.
Have you had any of this approved by administration, has you had any of this approved yet, Mark? As far as building this deck and
I haven't
protective
seen,
buildings?
we haven't seen they hadn't pulled permit for the deck, I don't believe. So, we're waiting for the variance to get it.
Okay, and then you would look at that, okay.
So basically, all we're talking about is there was a deck here that was taken out.
Yes.
Now you're wanting to put it in a more appropriate place. It'll be a little closer to them,
Enlarged.
and a little bit larger.
It'll be larger. It'll be not out in the complete sun like the other one was. You don't want to keep that?
Y'all wanna look at this? No, yeah.
You can hang it on the wall if you'd like to.
It's
a masterpiece.
You gotta sign it first, Sean.
And so what about the lighting? What, are you going to have lights on the outside?
There's already some external, on the louvers, there's already some lights outside. We were gonna put some lights underneath the handrails pointing down. That's all the lighting I know
So
about.
just the around the area for floor space and that type of thing, nothing up?
Just for tripping purposes, nothing up.
Does the neighbor live to the north, or is that just another like commercial mixed use
It's
type property?
It's a commercial property and he's in between tenants. So,
How far is he from you? How far is that property?
part of the, you mean the developed portion of it?
Yes.
It's probably more than conforming. Most of it, the developed part of my neighbor to the north is a good 30 feet offset. Whereas my structures are as close as the 6 feet to the property line.
And you've spoken with your neighbors and they're okay with all that?
I have, they are okay with that.
And there's commercial also, so
That's correct.
we're all commercial here.
So I've spoken to the neighbor to the south, because he's pulled some permits for some different things, other than the 3 little houses, which are actually not houses. I mean, one of them's a house, but the other 2 are, he's pulling those out, and he's probably using the commercial eventually. So that individual was fine, as far as I know. But I haven't talked to anybody else, but his neighbor to the south.
But we sent out notices to them, I take it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good enough. You have any more questions, folks?
No.
Commissioners, no more questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Stone.
Sorry.
We'll close the public hearing. Is it?
6:45.
Thank you. And we'll open the regular meeting. So with the new business in the regular meeting is to approve the minutes for May 2nd. I sent you on June 1, and I thought we was going to get June 1 on here also, but it didn't get on the agenda. So we'll do that at our next meeting. It was the workshop, that's all it is. So I sent you all the information on it. We just won't get to it tonight. So have y'all read the May 2nd minutes?
Yes, they looked good to me. I'll make a motion to approve if everybody else had a chance to read it.
Has everybody read it? Okay. Has everybody read it? Just finish my phone.
Is that just May 2nd?
May 2nd, but June 1 will have to go next time. It didn't get on the agenda that was public, that was put on the paper, so we won't be able to do that tonight. All in agreement? Any more conversation? All in agreement? Yes. Good. Unanimous. Okay, so the only other thing that we have on the agenda tonight is the discussion for the new business. We'll open the regular meeting, and the new business is, we heard Mr. Stone, and he wants to build this deck. And so he's asking for the variance. Let me get this out kind of in here. So he wants to have a 10-foot side yard setback and a, let me see, is that right? Yeah, and a 20-foot rear setback. So do you have any questions? Commissioners, do you want to talk about this? Anybody?
And you already have a 10-foot on the other side. right?
It's not.
For the
So
structure.
so you both sides.
I personally, and I'll leave it up to the commissioners to make a motion, but I don't see any adverse effect, and it is an enhancement. He's doing this for an overflow because the fire marshal has said he can't have any additional people in the building. And so this is going to be outside, and I kind of look at it as if it were a restaurant. It was full capacity and they had people waiting outside. So I don't know that any of that is a big issue. If it is, y'all need to speak up.
No, I think it looks good. I think that's a great addition to the property, and I know the chamber won't have an issue on the Yet Park side, and if you already spoke with his two neighbors north and south, then I don't see it being an issue on that end. So I'd make a motion to approve.
Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I will make a motion to approve for the deck on Second Echo.
Lynn got it first. Any other conversation? Everybody agree? Passed unanimous. We adjourn.
Celebrate, right?
Can I get the bowling on my mind?
I guess I should ask if anybody want to make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I think we all agree with you.
I'll do it.